Nogalar is about the Galvanes, the Galvan women. It's a Mexican family from the northern Mexico, the state of Nuevo León. The matriarch has been gone for about 15 years. And she is now returning to Los Nogales, which is the name of this hacienda, this orchard, to reclaim her land. But in 15 years, Mexico has changed a lot.
Unfortunately, things have changed, and a lot of things transpire throughout the course of the play. Dreams are shattered of what we thought we would come back to.
And now she's come back to the only home she has, but actually there's a different problem. It's not the money now, or trying to keep the land because of the money. There's a crime issue in Mexico, and that is what is threatening Los Nogales.
I play Valeria Galvana, Maite's first daughter. We're sisters. We grew up in a very high class where our names meant something. We've always had a lot of servants, things that we've taken for granted, and Duña and Lopez have been our servants. So they've been the ones that, have never had anything. And so now you see those two things kind of flip upside down in a way.
The character of Lopez has been affected by the violence in the community more than the Galvans, because a lot of the men in the community, they either join the Maña and work for them, or they're killed.
And the Galvan women are just out of this country, out of this world. They live somewhere else. They just don't experience what we do. I go outside and open the gates and wash the blood of two people who just were killed outside our gates. That's my reality.
Maite, my character, is in complete denial of the changes that are happening in Mexico, and it's very sad and scary, and kind of wishing it would go away on itself, and unfortunately it really doesn't.
I think we all sort of leave what it is that is our home, and when we go back we want to claim it in a sense, and yet are we of that place? And I think El Nogalar for me speaks to that so amazingly well, because that's such a universal quality that we have this sense of ownership to something that we have given up a long, long time ago.
When you're in the United States, you feel like you don't belong here, and then you go back to Mexico and you don't belong there as well because you haven't been living there all the time.
I feel like I was very much raised like Anita in that way, where I'm so Puerto Rican, right? And I've always been around Spanish, and that's my culture and my roots, but I'm so American. What does that mean? And how sometimes you're not Latino enough for Latinos, but not American enough for Americans, and how living in that liminal space can be so confusing.
It's not the Mexico. It's not how it used to be. It's definitely has changed. For this particular family, the change has not been in our favor.
The crime has been this great equalizer for a lot of people, It has crumbled so many systems, so many social systems, because now it's the gun rules,
I cannot tell you how many details or how many moments in this play are so real, to me at least.
This is not so much a violent play. There's a threat of violence, but what's happening is so violent. What's happening is so devastating, and I just wish we knew more about it, and we were better neighbors.
As an ensemble, we're blessed with some of the finest actors in the city. We said it would be best if, as we commissioned this play several years ago, for Tanya and she thought it was a great idea, to really specifically view our ensemble and say, this would be a great role for that person, and then try to start to tailor it towards them.
I think a lot of it was already there. We've been giving input without knowing we were giving input.
Right.
I wrote this play for a lot of the teatrista women. I was on stage with some of these women here, as an actor, and now it's amazing to get to write for them, and I know them so well. I know their rhythms. I know them as an actor and as a writer, and I've directed, I think, them too. So it's like we're a family, and it just feels really feels like a troop.
I also have 5 sisters myself, so being in a play with all women is definitely very much like at home for me. But yeah, so I can see, I care a lot about my family and my sisters, and I can kind of understand where Lopez is coming and wanting to protect them so much.
This will be the third time too that I work with Cecily Keenan, so that's a lot of fun.
Well, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for Cecily.
Well, Tanya's just like, you know, it's cool. I love that because there's a visceralness and an excitement that happens in the room when you can just trim and cut and change. And I'm just thrilled to be able to have such a partner who can move at the rate of speed that I like to work at. I mean, I find that invigorating and stimulating too. I just find that very exciting.
And with everything and everything that entails a real family. The good, the bad, and the ugly.